In the vast war-torn galaxy of the 41st millennium, where countless factions vie for dominance and survival, few figures inspire the same mixture of awe, dread, and sorrow as the Freeblade Knights. These towering behemoths of war, clad in ancient, nigh impenetrable armor, stride into battle alone, separated from the feudal traditions and familial bonds of their noble houses. To understand the significance of a Freeblade is to delve into the heart of a knight's oath-bound existence, a life governed by honor, duty, and loyalty to their lineage. Yet, a Freeblade story begins with an event so profound it shatters these foundations, leaving the warrior bereft of their past, their home, and their sworn house. A Freeblade is, at its core, a tragic figure. Unlike the knights of the Adeptus Mechanicus's Collegia Titanica or the genetically enhanced warriors of the Adeptus Astartes, Freeblades are individuals who have forsaken, or been forced to abandon, their knightly houses. This exile may come from shame, tragedy, or a quest for redemption. They are paradoxes in the grim darkness of the far future, living weapons of immense destructive power, yet loners driven by deeply personal motivations. The concept of Freeblades is steeped in the rich lore of the Imperium of Man, particularly within the traditions of the Imperial Knights. These mighty war engines, each piloted by a single noble warrior, are as much relics as they are weapons. Passed down through generations, a knight is a reflection of its house's history, virtues, and purpose. For a knight pilot to sever this bond is not merely an act of independence, but a fundamental rift in their very identity. This break creates a warrior who is simultaneously untethered and unrelenting, their path dictated by their inner demons, personal quests, or unspeakable oaths. In battle, the sight of a Freeblade is as inspiring as it is harrowing. Unlike the rank-and-file soldiers of the Astra Militarum or the disciplined detachments of the Space Marines, a Freeblade fights alone, embodying the archetype of the lone hero or anti-hero. Their heraldry, often altered or obscured, tells a tale of a life apart, while their actions on the battlefield speak of unmatched skill and determination. To their allies, a Freeblade may be a savior. To their enemies, they are a force of unbridled devastation. But what transforms a noble knight into a Freeblade? For some, it is the collapse of their house, whether through betrayal, invasion, or the slow decay of their world. Others are driven by the shame of a personal failing, an act they cannot reconcile with their honor. And then there are those whose transformation is dictated by forces far beyond their control, corruption, madness, or the whispering taint of chaos. The galaxy is rife with tales of such individuals, each as unique and layered as the knight piloting the machine. From the infamous Blackthorn, a Freeblade whose fury burned through orc warbands, to the enigmatic Dreadblade pilots who serve chaos, each story adds to the mystique of these solitary warriors. Yet, for all their glory and infamy, the path of a Freeblade is a lonely one. In a galaxy where survival often depends on unity and shared purpose, they stand apart, a testament to the enduring spirit of humanity, or its fragility. This video will delve into the enigmatic world of the Freeblades. From their noble origins to the tragedies that define their paths, we'll explore their motivations, their battles, and their ultimate legacies. Along the way, we'll meet key figures who exemplify the archetype of the Freeblade, dissect the advanced technologies and tactics that make them so formidable, and uncover the mysteries that surround these lone warriors. To truly grasp the significance of the Freeblade is to confront the duality of their existence: boundless power paired with profound isolation. In their stories, we see not only the struggle for survival in an unforgiving galaxy, but also a reflection of humanity's capacity for resilience, redemption, and defiance against overwhelming odds. As we embark on this journey, prepare to witness the saga of the Freeblades, knights without banners, heroes without houses, and warriors whose greatest battles are fought not only against the enemies of mankind, but within their own souls. The universe of the Freeblades is shaped by a delicate interplay of noble traditions, powerful forces, and the individuals who inhabit this tumultuous narrative. At the heart of their story are the Imperial Knights, the ancient and venerable war engines piloted by humanity's elite. These towering machines, constructed millennia ago during the Dark Age of technology, are more than weapons. They are living symbols of honor, duty, and sacrifice. Bound to their pilots through neural interfaces and ancient rituals, each knight is an extension of its pilot's will, amplifying their courage and resolve into acts of destruction or heroism on the battlefield. The origins of most Freeblades lie in the noble houses of the Imperial Knights. These houses, often ruling over feudal worlds in service to the Imperium or the Adeptus Mechanicus, operate within strict codes of chivalry and honor. These traditions are deeply ingrained in the identity of every knight pilot. Each noble house has its unique culture, its heraldry emblazoned upon the massive frames of their war engines, and its own interpretation of duty. Some houses are fiercely loyal to the Imperium, while others maintain closer ties to the Adeptus Mechanicus, seeing themselves as protectors of ancient knowledge and the machine god's will. Within these houses, the pilot of a knight is more than a warrior. They are a leader, a symbol of their house's strength and stability. Pilots often train from childhood, undergoing rigorous mental and physical conditioning to prepare for the immense strain of controlling such a devastating machine. They are taught to uphold the honor of their house above all else, their every action reflecting on their lineage. Yet it is this very connection to their house that makes the transformation into a Freeblade so profound. To sever these bonds is to lose not only one's identity, but also the support and validation that comes with it. The forces that shape a Freeblade's path are as varied as the galaxy itself. For some, the loss of their house is an unavoidable tragedy. Entire noble houses can be obliterated in an instant by the relentless tides of war, whether through an orc invasion, the machinations of chaos, or the predations of the Tyranids. Survivors of such destruction are left adrift, their oaths to a non-existent house, driving them to seek vengeance or purpose as a Freeblade. Other knights break with their houses not because of external forces, but due to internal strife. Political intrigue, betrayal, or personal shame can drive a pilot to abandon their house and take up the mantle of a Freeblade. These individuals often wrestle with their choices, their journeys marked by attempts to atone for perceived failures or reclaim their honor in a galaxy that offers little forgiveness. The galaxy itself plays a critical role in shaping Freeblades. The unending wars of the 41st millennium create countless opportunities for knights to rise as champions or fall into despair. The enemies of mankind, be they Xenos, heretics, or demons, provide not only the catalysts for their transformation, but also the challenges that define their paths. Freeblades often find themselves on the front lines of humanity's greatest conflicts, their singular focus making them both potent allies and unpredictable elements. Among the forces that influence Freeblades, none are as insidious as chaos. The warp, with its corrupting whispers, has claimed many a knight. These corrupted warriors, known as Dreadblades, forsake their oaths to embrace the dark powers of the ruinous gods. Their machines become warped reflections of their former glory, bristling with unholy weaponry and adorned with the sigils of chaos. Dreadblades serve as cautionary tales, their fall a stark reminder of the perilous line all knights must walk. Finally, the Imperium itself exerts a significant influence on Freeblades. While Freeblades are technically beholden to no authority, many are drawn back into the fold of the Imperium as mercenaries or lone champions. Their unmatched prowess in battle makes them valuable assets, and they are often enlisted by Imperial commanders desperate for an edge against their foes. However, this relationship is not without tension. Freeblades' independence and their lack of formal ties to the Mechanicus or the High Lords of Terra often lead to suspicion, their motives questioned even as their actions are celebrated. The key players in the story of the Freeblades are, therefore, multifaceted. From the noble houses and their rigid traditions to the destructive forces of the galaxy and the shadowy influence of chaos, every element contributes to the creation of these solitary warriors. Yet, at the center of it all are the Freeblades themselves, pilots whose resilience and determination drive them to carve out their paths in a galaxy that offers little but endless war. Their tales are not just about survival, but about finding meaning in a universe that seems designed to strip it away, making them some of the most compelling figures in the grim darkness of the 41st millennium. The emergence of Freeblades is deeply rooted in the traditions of the Imperial Knights and the tumultuous history of humanity's survival in the grim darkness of the far future. To understand the conditions that led to the existence of these solitary warriors, we must first explore the foundations of the knightly houses and the role of their war engines in the grand tapestry of the Imperium. Freeblades are not the result of deliberate creation, but the natural outcome of an environment where duty, honor, and survival intersect in a galaxy teeming with endless conflict and tragedy. The origins of the knights themselves lie in the dark age of technology, a time when humanity spread across the stars, colonizing countless worlds. Among these were harsh, untamed planets requiring immense machinery to terraform and defend against local threats. These machines, precursors to the Knights, were originally utilitarian constructs designed to aid humanity in survival against the elements and hostile alien species. However, as the age of strife plunged humanity into chaos and isolation, these machines evolved into tools of war, protecting scattered human enclaves from raiders, Xenos predators, and warp incursions. The feudal societies that formed on these worlds were hierarchical and built around the knights, which became symbols of power and authority. Noble houses emerged to operate and maintain these mighty machines, enshrining their operation in rituals and oaths. The bond between pilot and machine was both practical and spiritual, with each knight becoming a treasured heirloom of its house. Over time, these houses formed strong, insular traditions, fostering a rigid sense of duty and loyalty that defined the culture of the knights. This structure was meant to ensure stability, creating a system where every knight acted in the name of their house, protecting its honor and interests. However, the very rigidity that defined these noble houses also laid the groundwork for the eventual emergence of Freeblades. The strict codes of loyalty and service that governed the knightly houses left little room for individuality or deviation. A knight who failed their house, or who perceived themselves as having done so, could find no path to redemption within the tightly bound hierarchy. Similarly, the devastation of a house through war or treachery often left survivors unmoored, their oaths rendered meaningless in the absence of their liege or kin. The Imperium of Man, under the rule of the Emperor, further solidified the role of the knights as defenders of humanity during the Great Crusade. Many houses swore fealty to the Emperor, fighting alongside the Adeptus Mechanicus and Space Marine legions to reclaim lost worlds. Yet the galactic-scale wars of the Crusade and the subsequent Horus Heresy brought with them unprecedented destruction. Entire houses were annihilated in the fires of battle, leaving lone knights to wander the stars bereft of their traditional support systems. For some, the transition to a Freeblade was a conscious choice rather than a necessity. A knight might become disillusioned with their house, feeling constrained by politics or a lack of purpose. Others, driven by personal tragedy or visions of a higher calling, abandoned their ancestral ties to pursue their own quests. The Freeblade became a symbol of ultimate freedom, unshackled from the expectations of their peers, but burdened by the weight of forging their own path in a galaxy that often views such independence with suspicion. The concept of the Freeblade also ties closely to the fractured nature of the Imperium itself. The vastness of the galaxy and the constant threats of Xenos invasions, chaos incursions, and internal strife often leave individual knights operating far from their houses, isolated from reinforcements or communication. In such circumstances, a knight may take on the role of a Freeblade out of necessity, adapting to survive and protect the interests of humanity as best they can. Their self-reliance and adaptability make them invaluable assets in regions where the Imperium's reach is tenuous at best. Though the Freeblade exists outside the traditional structures of knightly houses, their role is undeniably vital. They are not merely warriors. They are embodiments of the resilience and adaptability that define humanity's survival in the 41st millennium. While their existence may arise from tragedy or personal choice, the Freeblades fill a crucial niche in the Imperium's never-ending struggle for dominance. They are lone champions who take on the burdens of battle, often against impossible odds, not because they are commanded to, but because they believe it is their duty to stand against the darkness. The creation of Freeblades, then, is not a deliberate act, but an inevitability born of the galaxy's unforgiving nature. Their stories are testaments to the fragility of the systems that bind humanity together and the extraordinary strength of those who refuse to falter when those systems collapse. In the Freeblade, we see not only the echoes of noble houses and the grandeur of their war engines, but also the indomitable will of individuals who rise above despair to forge their own destinies. They are, perhaps, the purest reflection of the knightly ideal, warriors who fight not for glory or recognition, but because the battle must be fought. The journey of the Freeblades, from their origins to their current status as iconic lone warriors of the 41st millennium, is marked by key stages of evolution influenced by historical events, cultural shifts, and the ceaseless tides of war. These stages reveal how the concept of the Freeblade developed as a unique and essential element of the Imperium's military and cultural landscape. The first significant phase in the evolution of the Freeblades occurred during the Age of Strife. As humanity's galaxy-spanning empire crumbled under the weight of warp storms and the collapse of centralized governance, countless night worlds were left isolated. In the chaos, many noble houses faced existential threats from alien invasions, internal revolts, and the corrupting influence of the warp. When houses fell, individual knights often found themselves bereft of leadership or kin, forced to adapt to their new reality as survivors. While some perished alongside their houses, others emerged as the first proto-Freeblades, wandering the galaxy in search of purpose or vengeance. The Great Crusade marked the next major stage in the development of the Freeblades. The Emperor's reunification of humanity brought many night worlds back into the fold of the Imperium, granting noble houses renewed purpose and resources. However, the galactic-scale warfare of the Crusade placed unprecedented demands on the knightly houses. Individual knights were often sent on missions far from their homes, fighting alongside the Legiones Astartes and Imperial army to reclaim lost worlds. The immense scope of the crusade often left these knights stranded in hostile territories, cut off from their houses. While some were able to return, others embraced their newfound independence, taking up the mantle of Freeblades to continue their battles without the constraints of their former oaths. The Horus heresy introduced a darker and more personal dimension to the evolution of Freeblades. The galaxy-wide civil war shattered countless institutions, including the knightly houses. Many houses were forced to choose sides, with some aligning themselves with the traitorous War Master Horus and others remaining loyal to the Emperor. For some knights, the conflict tore apart their houses from within, as brothers turned on brothers in brutal internecine warfare. The survivors of these shattered houses, unable or unwilling to align with either side, became Freeblades out of necessity. For these individuals, the Freeblade path represented a way to distance themselves from the horrors of the heresy, while still fighting for what they believed was right. As the Imperium entered the Age of the Imperium, the role of the Freeblade began to crystallize. With the galaxy in a perpetual state of conflict, Freeblades became invaluable as adaptable, highly skilled warriors who could operate independently. Unlike the structured forces of the Astra Militarum or the rigid hierarchies of the Space Marines, Freeblades brought a unique blend of autonomy and power to the battlefield. This period also saw the codification of Freeblade heraldry and traditions, as these lone knights began to develop their own identities distinct from the houses they had left behind. Their banners often depicted personal symbols or references to the events that led to their independence, further cementing their status as individuals rather than representatives of a collective. The 41st millennium represents the current stage in the evolution of the Freeblades, a time when their presence is both a boon and a curiosity. With the Imperium stretched thin across countless battlefronts, Freeblades often find themselves in high demand. Their reputation as fiercely independent warriors capable of turning the tide of battle has earned them a place in the annals of Imperial history. Yet, their independence often makes them objects of suspicion, particularly among the Adeptus Mechanicus and certain Imperial commanders who view their lack of oversight as a potential liability. This tension reflects the dual nature of the Freeblades' role. They are celebrated as heroes while simultaneously mistrusted as outliers. Another defining aspect of the modern Freeblade is the rise of the Dreadblades, those knights who have fallen to chaos. While not all Freeblades are inherently at risk of corruption, their isolation and independence make them more vulnerable to the insidious whispers of the ruinous powers. Dreadblades represent a dark mirror of the Freeblade ideal, their autonomy twisted into servitude to malevolent forces. The emergence of Dreadblades has added a layer of tragedy and caution to the legacy of the Freeblades, reminding the Imperium of the fine line between heroism and damnation. Throughout these stages, the Freeblades have maintained a singular importance in the tapestry of the Imperium. Their development reflects the broader struggles of humanity in a galaxy defined by war, chaos, and survival. As individuals, they embody the resilience and adaptability that have allowed humanity to endure in the face of extinction. As warriors, they are unmatched in their ability to operate independently, forging their own paths while contributing to the larger fight for humanity's survival. The story of the Freeblades is ultimately one of evolution through necessity. Born from tragedy and forged in the fires of war, they stand as testaments to the enduring spirit of the knightly tradition, even as they exist outside its bounds. In their rise from isolated survivors to celebrated champions, the Freeblades have become legends in their own right, carving a legacy that will endure as long as the Imperium itself continues to fight against the darkness. Among the many transformative moments in the life of a Freeblade, the decision to abandon their house, or the event that forces their separation, is the most pivotal. This moment is not merely a turning point in their personal story, but a defining act that reshapes their identity and future. For some, it is a conscious, agonizing choice. For others, an event so catastrophic that the decision is made for them. Regardless of the circumstances, this moment forever marks the transition from a bound servant of their house to a lone warrior, beholden only to their own sense of duty and purpose. The catalyst for this change often varies widely depending on the knight's background, the nature of their house, and the forces at play. For many Freeblades, the fall of their house is the most common and harrowing cause. This might occur due to overwhelming external threats, such as a Tyranid hive fleet consuming their homeworld, an orc reducing their fortresses to rubble, or chaos forces corrupting their kin. In such cases, the knight is left with little choice but to survive as best they can. Stripped of the familial ties, traditions, and support structures that define their existence, they step into the unknown as Freeblades, their war machines often bearing the scars of the destruction that claimed their houses. In other instances, the decision is born of personal tragedy or a profound failure. A knight who dishonors their house, whether through perceived cowardice, inability to defend their kin, or a moment of poor judgment, may exile themselves in a bid for redemption. This self-imposed exile is as much an internal battle as it is a practical one. The knight must wrestle with their sense of shame while seeking to prove their worth through acts of valor and sacrifice. These Freeblades are often among the most determined and relentless, their every action driven by a burning need to atone for their past. Sometimes the breaking point arises from ideological or moral differences. A knight may find themselves at odds with the leadership of their house, questioning decisions that they see as corrupt, dishonorable, or destructive. This divergence might stem from internal politics, alliances with questionable forces, or a refusal to submit to the Adeptus Mechanicus's demands. In such cases, the decision to leave is not a failure, but a rejection of what the knight perceives as a betrayal of their own principles. These Freeblades often define themselves as guardians of a higher cause, fighting not for a banner or bloodline, but for their interpretation of justice or humanity's survival. There are also those whose separation is dictated by forces beyond their control, such as the creeping influence of chaos. A knight who succumbs to the whispers of the ruinous powers or witnesses their house's corruption may break away in an attempt to resist. In these cases, the choice to become a Freeblade is a desperate one, motivated by a desire to avoid the same fate as their kin. Yet, the shadow of chaos lingers, and these Freeblades often carry a unique burden, aware that their very existence could become a battleground for their soul. A famous example of such a pivotal moment can be found in the tale of the Freeblade known as Amaranthine. Once a proud knight of House Vextrus, she witnessed her home destroyed by a chaos incursion that claimed the lives of her family and comrades. As the sole survivor, she swore an oath to never let her house's legacy fade into obscurity. She adopted the mantle of a Freeblade, her machine's heraldry replaced with personal sigils that honored her fallen kin. Every battle she fought was a step toward vengeance, her decision to walk alone becoming the source of her strength and legend. For others, the decision to break away can be more gradual, shaped by years of isolation and reflection. A knight who finds themselves repeatedly stranded from their house, fighting alongside unfamiliar allies across distant worlds, might begin to question their bonds. Over time, they may realize that their identity as a warrior transcends the confines of their house, leading them to adopt the role of a Freeblade, to embrace this newfound independence fully. Ultimately, the moment of transition from knight to Freeblade is not defined solely by loss or choice, but by the knight's response to it. It is a moment of profound transformation, stripping away the layers of tradition and expectation to reveal the core of who they are. For some, it is an act of defiance against overwhelming odds. For others, a journey of self-discovery. Whatever the cause, this moment sets the stage for the trials and triumphs that define their existence as Freeblades. This decision or event also underscores the inherent tension in their role. By stepping away from their house, a knight forfeits the security and unity that comes with it, embracing a life of solitude and uncertainty. Yet, this very independence becomes their strength, allowing them to forge their own path and make choices unconstrained by the politics or priorities of others. It is a paradoxical existence, where their greatest loss becomes their greatest power, and their loneliness becomes the source of their resilience. In the grand narrative of the Imperium, the moment a knight becomes a Freeblade is more than just a personal story. It is a reflection of the struggle between tradition and individuality, duty and freedom, survival and sacrifice. It is a testament to the human spirit's ability to endure and adapt, even in the face of unimaginable hardship. Each Freeblade's journey begins with this pivotal moment, and it is this choice, or lack thereof, that defines the course of their legend. The existence of Freeblades resonates far beyond their solitary journeys, leaving an indelible mark on the galaxy-spanning conflict of the 41st millennium. Though often perceived as lone warriors, their actions ripple across entire sectors, influencing the strategies of imperial armies, the morale of allies, and the narratives of the factions they encounter. The Freeblades are not merely fighters. They are living symbols of independence, resilience, and unyielding determination, and their impact on the universe extends in profound and unexpected ways. Freeblades frequently serve as force multipliers on the battlefield, their sheer destructive potential capable of turning the tide of wars. A single Freeblade knight, operating independently, can achieve results that would require entire regiments of the Astra Militarum. Their adaptability allows them to engage a wide range of enemies, from the overwhelming tides of Tyrannid swarms to the heavily armored constructs of the Chaos Legions. Freeblades are often called upon by desperate Imperial commanders to serve as vanguard units, shock troops, or even last-ditch defenders. Their willingness to fight without bureaucratic oversight or extensive logistical support makes them invaluable in regions where Imperial infrastructure is weak or non-existent. Beyond their raw power, Freeblades also serve as potent symbols of hope and inspiration. In the grim darkness of the far future, where despair is as pervasive as the warp itself, the sight of a lone knight striding into battle can ignite a spark of defiance among beleaguered defenders. Their heraldry, often personalized and marked with unique emblems, tells a story of survival against impossible odds. For the soldiers of the Imperium, the presence of a Freeblade on the battlefield is a reminder that even in the face of overwhelming adversity, victory is possible. This psychological effect often boosts morale, enabling Imperial forces to stand firm where they might otherwise falter. However, the impact of Freeblades is not limited to the Imperium. To the enemies of humanity, these solitary warriors are both a challenge and a cautionary tale. Orcs, for example, often view Freeblades as particularly worthy foes, seeing their lone status as an invitation to prove their own strength in combat. Freeblades who encounter orc warbands frequently find themselves the targets of relentless assaults, as the Greenskins seek to claim the glory of defeating such an imposing adversary. Similarly, the forces of chaos regard Freeblades with a mixture of contempt and fascination, often seeking to corrupt or destroy them as trophies of their victory over Imperial resilience. Among Xenos factions, Freeblades can also become figures of intrigue or fear. Eldar war councils may view a Freeblade as a wild card, their unpredictable movements disrupting the careful calculations of the Farseers. The Tau, with their focus on collective harmony and the greater good, may struggle to comprehend the Freeblade's fiercely individualistic nature, while simultaneously recognizing the threat such a warrior poses to their carefully orchestrated battles. Even the Necrons, with their cold, calculating logic, acknowledge the tactical challenge posed by a Freeblade's unpredictability, which defies their typically structured approach to warfare. The influence of Freeblades extends beyond the battlefield, shaping the broader political and cultural dynamics of the Imperium. Their existence challenges the rigid hierarchies of the Adeptus Mechanicus and the Imperial bureaucracy. As independent actors, Freeblades are not beholden to the dictates of Forge Worlds or High Lords, a fact that often places them at odds with the more controlling elements of the Imperium. While many view Freeblades as valuable assets, others see them as threats to the established order, symbols of dangerous autonomy that could inspire rebellion or dissent if left unchecked. In some cases, Freeblades become the catalyst for local legends, their deeds immortalized in the oral traditions of isolated planets or the propaganda of Imperial governors. Stories of lone knights standing against orc hordes, chaos incursions, or Tyrannid biotitans spread quickly, often growing in scale with each retelling. These legends serve to reinforce Imperial ideals of courage and self-sacrifice, creating a narrative that strengthens the cohesion of otherwise disparate populations. Even worlds that never witness a Freeblade firsthand may come to revere them as mythical champions, their names whispered with a mixture of reverence and awe. On a darker note, the rise of Dreadblades, the Freeblades who succumb to chaos, underscores the precarious balance between heroism and corruption. These fallen knights wield the same devastating power as their loyalist counterparts, but turn it against the Imperium they once served. The mere rumor of a Dreadblade's presence can destabilize entire sectors, sparking fear and paranoia among Imperial forces. For the Imperium, the existence of Dreadblades is a chilling reminder of the dangers inherent in allowing any warrior to operate outside established oversight, no matter how noble their intentions. Freeblades also leave a mark on the technological and tactical landscape of the 41st millennium. The unique modifications and personalizations they often make to their war engines, either as a result of necessity or personal preference, become sources of fascination for tech priests and engineers. These customizations frequently include weapon systems, defensive augmentations, and heraldic displays not seen among the more standardized knights of the noble houses. While the Adeptus Mechanicus may view such deviations with suspicion, they cannot deny the efficacy of these innovations in combat. Ultimately, the impact of the Freeblades on the galaxy is one of contrast and complexity. They are at once symbols of hope and reminders of tragedy, agents of destruction and embodiments of resilience. Their solitary paths carve deep and lasting impressions wherever they tread, shaping the fate of worlds and the hearts of those who witness their battles. In a galaxy defined by war and suffering, the Freeblades stand apart, not as mere warriors, but as enduring testaments to the strength of the individual against the crushing weight of the universe. The Freeblades are defined by their unique combination of independence, adaptability, and personal identity, setting them apart from the rigid structures of the noble houses they leave behind. These solitary warriors, unbound by traditional hierarchies and protocols, develop distinct characteristics that elevate their combat prowess, strategic flexibility, and cultural significance. Each Freeblade becomes a singular force in the galaxy, embodying traits and utilizing technologies that make them unparalleled on the battlefield. One of the most striking aspects of Freeblades is their heraldry. Unlike the knights of established noble houses, whose banners and armor bear the unified colors and symbols of their lineage, a Freeblade's heraldry is entirely personal. Each Freeblade crafts their sigils to reflect their past, their purpose, or the tragedy that defined their transformation. This heraldry can include symbols of mourning, such as broken chains to signify freedom from a shattered house, or icons of vengeance, like blood-red talons or swords crossed over a ruined citadel. The individuality of these designs tells a story, making each Freeblade instantly recognizable as a unique entity within the Imperium. Another key aspect of Freeblades is their unparalleled autonomy. Unlike knights who operate under the directives of their houses or the Mechanicus, Freeblades chart their own course through the galaxy. This independence allows them to engage in battles that align with their personal quests, whether it's seeking vengeance, protecting the weak, or redeeming their honor. Their freedom from external oversight means they can make swift decisions in combat, adapt to rapidly changing circumstances, and employ unorthodox tactics without waiting for approval or support. Freeblades are also known for the extensive customization of their war engines. As lone operators, they often have to rely on whatever resources they can scavenge, barter, or requisition. This necessity drives innovation, leading to unique modifications that reflect both their personality and the challenges they face. A Freeblade's knight might bristle with improvised weaponry, enhanced shielding, or exotic equipment not typically sanctioned by the Adeptus Mechanicus. These modifications are not just practical but deeply symbolic, embodying the resourcefulness and individuality that define the Freeblade ethos. The psychological aspect of being a Freeblade is equally unique. Unlike knights bound to houses who fight for shared honor and tradition, Freeblades are driven by deeply personal motivations. This often makes them more relentless and focused in battle, their determination sharpened by the weight of their personal quests. However, this solitude can also be a double-edged sword. Freeblades frequently wrestle with feelings of isolation, guilt, or loss, which can influence their behavior both on and off the battlefield. This emotional depth adds layers of complexity to their character, making them more than just warriors. They are figures of tragedy, resilience, and self-discovery. Freeblades also develop a reputation for being unpredictable, a trait that stems from their independence and unique tactical approach. Unlike housebound knights, who often adhere to established doctrines, Freeblades are free to experiment with unconventional strategies. They might use guerrilla tactics, bait enemies into traps, or strike at unexpected targets, leveraging their autonomy to exploit weaknesses in their foes. This unpredictability often gives them a psychological edge, as enemies struggle to anticipate their moves or counter their ingenuity. Their relationship with the Adeptus Mechanicus is another fascinating aspect of Freeblades. While the Mechanicus generally reveres knights as holy relics of the machine god, Freeblades often operate outside the strict maintenance and control protocols enforced by the tech priests. This independence can create tension, as the Mechanicus views any unsanctioned modification or deviation from sacred rites with suspicion. However, Freeblades who prove their worth in battle or demonstrate exceptional ingenuity are sometimes grudgingly respected, their innovations studied, and, in rare cases, adopted by the Mechanicus. The cultural significance of Freeblades also sets them apart. In a galaxy where unity and conformity are often prized, Freeblades serve as symbols of individuality and perseverance. Their stories inspire countless Imperial citizens, becoming the stuff of legend on the worlds they visit. These tales often focus on the Freeblades' singular journey, emphasizing their ability to rise above tragedy and forge their path despite overwhelming odds. Such narratives provide hope to those living under the constant shadow of war, reminding them that even the smallest acts of defiance can make a difference. From a technological perspective, the Freeblades' ability to maintain and operate their knights independently is nothing short of extraordinary. The intricate systems of a knight require not only physical upkeep, but also a deep understanding of the machine's spirit, a connection cultivated through ritual and practice. Freeblades, cut off from the vast support networks of their houses, must develop an intimate relationship with their machines, often personalizing their rites and creating new ones. This bond is both practical and spiritual, ensuring that their knights remain operational despite the challenges of isolation. Another remarkable trait of Freeblades is their adaptability to different environments and challenges. Unlike housebound knights, who typically operate within specific theaters of war alongside their kin, Freeblades are thrust into a wide variety of battlefields, from the icy wastes of Valhalla to the toxic jungles of Katakin. Their ability to endure and thrive in these diverse conditions is a testament to their resourcefulness and resilience. Over time, this exposure hones their skills and tempers their resolve, making them among the most versatile and experienced warriors in the galaxy. Finally, Freeblades are unique in their capacity to build alliances across factions. While their independence can lead to mistrust, it also allows them to forge relationships with groups that might otherwise be inaccessible to traditional knights. Rogue traders, Imperial Guard regiments, and even elements of the Inquisition have been known to seek the aid of Freeblades, valuing their unique skills and autonomy. These alliances often open doors to opportunities and resources that would be unavailable to more rigidly controlled forces, further enhancing the Freeblades' ability to adapt and succeed in a hostile galaxy. In every sense, Freeblades are more than just warriors. They are icons of individuality and resilience, their unique aspects shaping not only their personal stories, but also the broader narrative of the Imperium. Their independence, adaptability, and ingenuity make them a force to be reckoned with, while their heraldry, motivations, and tragedies ensure they remain some of the most compelling figures in the grim darkness of the 41st millennium. The galaxy is vast and its history rich, but even within the endless wars and ceaseless tragedies of the 41st millennium, certain Freeblades stand out as legends. Their deeds echo across the stars, their names spoken in hushed tones by allies and enemies alike. Each of these individuals embodies the essence of what it means to be a Freeblade. Solitary warriors driven by personal quests, unconstrained by the traditions of the noble houses they left behind. One of the most renowned Freeblades is Amaranthine, the Solemn Sentinel. A former knight of House Vextrus, Amaranthine was the sole survivor of a chaos assault that obliterated her homeworld. Witnessing the destruction of her family and her people, she swore a personal oath to never let the memory of her house fade. Her knight, Valiant's Grace, bears a unique heraldry of a broken crown encircled by a mourning wreath, symbolizing her shattered lineage. Amaranthine has fought on countless battlefields, her towering machine a beacon of hope for beleaguered defenders. Her most famous victory came on the world of Archeon Prime, where she single-handedly held off a Tyranid swarm tyrant and its retinue, giving an Imperial evacuation fleet time to escape. Despite her heroism, Amaranthine remains a somber figure, haunted by the memories of her lost kin. Another figure whose name commands both respect and fear is Draken the Wounded, a Freeblade whose life is shrouded in mystery. Once a knight of House Kalistar, Draken was exiled after an incident during a campaign against an orc Wah. While the details remain unclear, it is rumored that Draken's actions, though ultimately saving his allies, violated his house's strict codes of engagement. His machine, Ashen Fury, is a heavily modified knight-errant adorned with scorch marks and crude battlefield repairs, a testament to his constant struggle for survival. Drekon has become a legend among the Astra Militarum, known for appearing unbidden during desperate battles. His victories, while celebrated, often come at a high cost, earning him a reputation as a warrior whose aid is both a blessing and a curse. Among the Freeblades who have embraced vengeance, none are as feared as Sable Torment, a shadowy figure whose name strikes terror into the forces of chaos. Sable's transformation into a Freeblade began when his house, loyal to the Emperor, was betrayed from within and corrupted by chaos. Unable to save his kin, he fled, taking with him the Night Black Oath. Now, Sable Torment dedicates his existence to hunting traitors, heretics, and chaos warbands, his rage fueling his relentless pursuit of vengeance. His knight is a dark silhouette on the battlefield, its armor blackened and adorned with the sigils of shattered chaos icons. Sable Torment's most infamous act was the destruction of the chaos warband known as the Crimson Coil, whose leader he personally decapitated in single combat. His actions have earned him both the gratitude of the Imperium and the undying hatred of the ruinous powers. On the opposite end of the spectrum is Leora the Radiant, a Freeblade whose legacy is one of hope and compassion. Formerly of House Selenia, Leora left her house after a disagreement over its refusal to aid an Imperial world under siege by the Drukhari. Piloting the Knight Gallant Morningstar's Grace, she intervened against her house's orders, saving thousands of lives but severing her ties to her lineage. Since then, Leora has dedicated herself to protecting the defenseless, often placing herself between vulnerable civilians and the horrors of war. Her knight, resplendent in gold and white, has become a symbol of hope for the Imperium's downtrodden. Though her actions sometimes draw the ire of Imperial authorities, the tales of her bravery and selflessness inspire countless souls. Not all Freeblades are driven by noble causes. Vorik the Dreaded is a cautionary tale of what happens when the weight of isolation becomes too great. Vorik began as a knight of House Tarnus, but his transformation into a Freeblade was prompted by his house's destruction during an Eldar raid. As Vorik wandered the galaxy, his growing bitterness and anger attracted the attention of the Chaos Gods. His machine, once the proud Knight Crusader Imperial Might, became twisted into the corrupted Wretched Doom. Vorik's descent into darkness culminated in his infamous betrayal during the defense of Enoch's Bastion, where he turned his guns on Imperial forces, leaving the world to fall to chaos. Now, Vorik serves as a Dreadblade, a fallen Freeblade whose name is spoken with fear by both allies and enemies. Yet, not all stories end in darkness. Caius Everforge, known as the Maker's Hand, is a rare example of a Freeblade whose ingenuity has saved countless lives. Once an engineer before becoming a Knight of House Ordanis, Caius took to modifying his Knight Paladin Forgefire with innovative technologies after the destruction of his house. His unique ability to repair his machine under the harshest conditions has made him a legend among the Imperial Guard, with whom he often fights. Caius's innovations, such as improvised void shields and advanced targeting systems, have turned battles in favor of the Imperium, earning him the admiration of tech priests despite his unorthodox methods. The galaxy is filled with such figures, each Freeblade a story unto themselves. Their individuality and the scale of their deeds ensure that their names endure, not just as warriors but as legends. Whether as beacons of hope, harbingers of vengeance, or cautionary tales, the Freeblades' personal quests leave marks on the universe that no banner-bound knight could ever achieve. These individuals, with their towering machines and indomitable wills, remind the Imperium of humanity's capacity for resilience, creativity, and above all, the ability to stand alone against the darkness. Freeblades are steeped in mystery, their solitary nature and personal journeys shrouded in secrecy. Their independence, which grants them the freedom to operate outside traditional structures, also makes them enigmatic figures within the Imperium. Over the millennia, countless theories and secrets have emerged surrounding these lone knights, ranging from whispered legends to hidden truths that challenge the understanding of their existence. These mysteries, whether grounded in reality or the product of myth and speculation, add to the allure and intrigue of Freeblades. One of the most persistent theories revolves around the bond between Freeblades and their knights' thrones, the neural interfaces that link the pilot to their war machine. Some tech priests of the Adeptus Mechanicus believe that the trauma and isolation experienced by Freeblades cause a unique transformation in this bond, fundamentally altering the machine spirit of their knights. It is speculated that these machine spirits become more autonomous, developing a deeper, more personal connection to their pilots. This could explain the uncanny synchronicity often observed in Freeblades during battle, as though the knight itself is an active participant in decisions rather than a mere extension of its operator's will. However, the Mechanicus guards the secrets of the Throne Mechanicum zealously, leaving this theory unconfirmed. Another mystery surrounds the heraldry of Freeblades, which often features symbols and motifs that seem to defy conventional interpretation. While some heraldry clearly reflects personal tragedy or vengeance, others display cryptic designs whose meanings remain elusive even to scholars of imperial iconography. For instance, the Freeblade known as Shadow Strike bears a banner adorned with a shattered sun eclipsed by a crescent moon, an image with no known ties to any imperial tradition. This has led some to suggest that Freeblades may receive visions or divine inspiration during their transformation, guiding their choice of heraldry and influencing their future path. Others dismiss this idea as superstition, attributing the symbols to personal creativity or psychological expression. The unexplained resilience of Freeblades in the face of overwhelming odds has also sparked speculation. Stories abound of lone Freeblades surviving encounters that should have been impossible, standing against tyrannid bio-titans, orc gargants, or chaos greater demons without reinforcement. Some theorists attribute this to sheer skill and determination, while others believe that Freeblades are guided or protected by unknown forces. One radical theory posits that certain Freeblades may unknowingly act as agents of the Emperor's will, their survival ensured by his divine influence. While this idea is dismissed by most imperial authorities as heretical, it remains a popular explanation among the Imperium's more superstitious citizens. The origins of certain Freeblades are also a source of intrigue. While many have well-documented histories tied to the destruction or exile of their houses, others emerge seemingly from nowhere, with no record of their lineage or homeworld. These individuals, such as the mysterious Iron Revenant, have fueled speculation about secret night houses hidden from the wider Imperium. Some suggest that these Freeblades may hail from lost or forgotten night worlds, emerging only when dire circumstances compel them to join the fight. Others believe that these knights could be survivors of houses that fell to heresy or chaos, now seeking redemption in anonymity. The question of Freeblade mortality is another topic of whispered debate. Most knights, whether Freeblade or housebound, eventually succumb to injury, battle damage, or the wear of time. However, certain Freeblades seem to defy this inevitability, their tales stretching across centuries with little explanation. This has led to rumors of Freeblades employing forbidden technologies to extend their lives, or even theories that some may not be entirely human. One particularly persistent legend speaks of the Eternal Blade, a Freeblade said to have fought in the Horus Heresy and still active in the 41st millennium. Whether this figure is a single individual or a mantle passed down across generations remains unknown, but the possibility of a truly immortal knight casts a long shadow over the Freeblade mythos. The potential for Freeblades to fall into corruption is another dark secret that haunts their legacy. While the most infamous cases of corruption result in the creation of Dreadblades, there are subtler forms of moral and psychological degradation. The isolation of a Freeblade's life can erode their sense of purpose, leading some to make alliances with questionable factions or pursue increasingly destructive personal vendettas. There are rumors of Freeblades who have turned their backs on the Imperium not out of malice, but because they have grown disillusioned with its bureaucracy and cruelty. These rogue Freeblades, while not outright heretics, operate in morally gray areas, taking on mercenary work or even aiding Xenos in rare circumstances. Such figures are both feared and pitied, their actions seen as a warning of the toll isolation can take. Freeblade's interaction with the Warp and the Psychers of the Imperium has also sparked conjecture. While knights are not inherently psychic, some Freeblades appear to possess an uncanny intuition, predicting enemy movements or detecting hidden threats with unnatural accuracy. This has led some to suggest that prolonged isolation and the intense neural bond with their machines may heighten a Freeblade's sensitivity to the Warp. If true, this would place Freeblades in a precarious position, as such sensitivity could make them more susceptible to corruption. However, the Adeptus Mechanicus vehemently denies this possibility, asserting that the Throne Mechanicum protects knights from such influences. Perhaps the most enduring mystery of the Freeblades is their ultimate fate. While some Freeblades rejoin the Imperium's broader military structure, offering their service to planetary governors or joining crusades, others simply disappear. Whether they fall in battle, retreat into isolation, or meet some other stranger fate remains unknown. Stories abound of Freeblades vanishing into warp storms or embarking on solitary quests to the edges of known space. Some believe that these knights are drawn to their destinies by forces beyond mortal understanding, their fates intertwined with the larger machinations of the galaxy. Others speculate that these disappearances are acts of despair, the final retreat of warriors who can no longer bear the weight of their burdens. The secrets and theories surrounding Freeblades only deepen their mystique. As symbols of both individuality and tragedy, they embody the tension between humanity's potential for greatness and its vulnerability to darkness. Each unanswered question adds another layer to the mythos of these lone warriors, ensuring that their legends endure long after their footsteps fade from the galaxy's battlefields. In the grim darkness of the 41st millennium, where the galaxy is engulfed in endless war, the stories of the Freeblades endure as tales of defiance, resilience, and individuality. These solitary knights, unbound by the constraints of their houses, represent a rare dichotomy in a universe dominated by rigid hierarchies and ceaseless conformity. They are both the product of the Imperium's failings and its greatest hope, testaments to the strength of the human spirit, even when faced with isolation, tragedy, and overwhelming odds. The legacy of the Freeblades is not confined to the battlefields they stride across or the enemies they vanquish. Their impact is felt in the hearts of those they inspire, the legends they create, and the fear they instill in the Imperium's many foes. A Freeblade's path is one of sacrifice and self-reliance, a journey often marked by profound loss, but also by a determination to rise above it. Each Freeblade story serves as a reminder that even in the darkest moments, the potential for heroism and redemption endures. Yet, the life of a Freeblade is not without its costs. Their independence comes at the price of isolation, their autonomy tempered by the weight of their personal quests. For every victory they achieve, they carry the burden of fighting alone, without the support of a house or the camaraderie of kin. This solitude shapes them, forging their identities in the fires of adversity. It is both their greatest strength and their deepest vulnerability, a paradox that defines their existence. In a galaxy where survival often depends on unity and strength in numbers, the Freeblades defy convention. They walk their own paths, guided by their principles, their losses, and their relentless drive to make a difference. Whether they fight for vengeance, redemption, or a cause greater than themselves, they do so with a singularity of purpose that sets them apart from all others. Their individuality is a beacon in a universe that seeks to crush it, a symbol of humanity's ability to endure and adapt. As the battles of the 41st millennium rage on, the Freeblades continue to shape the course of history, their presence felt across countless worlds and sectors. They are warriors, wanderers, and legends, their stories etched into the fabric of the Imperium's enduring struggle against the darkness. And though their paths may never cross again with the houses they left behind, their contributions to humanity's survival will echo through eternity. The saga of the Freeblades reminds us that even in a galaxy consumed by war, the actions of a single individual can leave an indelible mark. They embody the timeless truth that heroism is not born of rank or allegiance, but of the choices made in the face of adversity. In their solitude, they find purpose. In their defiance, they inspire. And in their battles, they carve their place among the stars, ensuring that their legacy will never be forgotten. The Freeblades are more than knights. They are the living embodiment of the Imperium's enduring will to survive, one battle at a time.